So, hi y'all. Did you know that a business coach or consultant has to keep your information about your business private? Hi y'all. Thanks so much for joining me. In less than 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you the role of confidentiality in the coaching and the consulting relationship. Please like and share this video if you get value from it. And if you're listening to the replay on the podcast, really appreciate your support. Just checking to make sure everything's fine and running here on YouTube and on Instagram. As you join, you can say hi and where you're joining from. So confidentiality, it is something that is really important to the coaching and the consulting relationship. And I know for a lot of people, I know for myself too, that's something I thought about the first time I heard about a coach or a mentor, because I wanted to know, hey, I'm sharing information with them. What's going to happen with that information? Hey, and by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Dr. P with Priscilla Kuser Consulting Solutions, and I'm a strategic business coach. And I've been a school psychologist for about 10 years in K-12 schools, taught in online graduate psychology programs at the master's level, and served on professional organization committees. So I've served on committees wherein we had to keep information confidential within the members of the committee. And it's important, even in schools, when you sit on certain leadership teams, you have to keep that information confidential. As a psychologist, my background, my training, my experiences, our ethical code, it does include keeping information confidential, because people share information with us and we have to make sure we're protecting that information. Because like I said, you want to make sure that the person is not sharing your information out there with others. And I know from my experience, it has been so helpful when I've shared with a prospect that part of the coaching expectations with working with me as are even part of the consulting expectations, because sometimes I coach, sometimes I serve as a consultant. Part of it does include me keeping your information confidential, keeping that information private. And I can tell you this, you see like this weight just lift off their shoulders. They're so much more relaxed, because it feels good, doesn't it, when you're being told, hey, my information is not going to go anywhere. This person is going to keep this information so that they can actually be helping me, right? And trust me, like I said, I completely get it. With my background in psychology, my experiences on professional organization committees, sitting on leadership teams in schools, yes, I get it, that need for having that confidentiality. But you know what? Outside of psychology, here's what I can share. Outside of psychology, the first time I heard about, getting that mentor or that coach, right? I was like, do I really want to get that mentor or that coach? Because I want to make sure, and I said this before, that my information was going to be protected. Because let's be honest, when you're working with a mentor or coach, you're sharing some personal information with that person, right? You're really getting exposed, so to speak. Some people even say downright vulnerable, because you're sharing about things that are not working, things that you might be embarrassed about, something that you might think is a stupid question to be asking. You're sharing this information with someone else. And yes, there's that vulnerability there. And you want to make sure that person is not going to go out there and share your information with anybody else. You don't, right? So that's why knowing that your information is going to be held confidential is important. So as a business owner, you know that you are going to be sharing the innermost working of your business, because you're going to be telling this person like the true reason for why you started your business. You're going to be talking about those goals that you identify, that mission for your business. The thing is, though, that vision and mission for your business, let's think about it. Those should have already been out there and shared with other people. You should have it on your website and your social media, sharing it with your team members. So to be honest, those things should be out there, unless you're not being honest with yourself and what you have put out there is not really your true vision or your mission. But that's a story for a different time. Today, I really want to talk about confidentiality and why it is a part of a true coaching and consulting relationship. The International Coaching Foundation, or ICF, they talk about confidentiality in their code that they have, right? And in that code, they do state that confidentiality refers to the coach's duty to not disclose any information obtained during the course of the coaching relationship without the express permission of the client. The right of confidentiality belongs to the client, not to you as a coach, right? So even ICF acknowledges the importance of confidentiality in the coaching relationship. And if you are in a coaching relationship right now, it means that that agreement, that contract that you signed prior to getting into that coaching or consulting relationship should have included a clause about confidentiality. It really should. If you're not sure, go back, check your copy of it. By the way, you should have a copy of what you signed. Check your copy of it to make sure there is that confidentiality clause in there. And if there's no confidentiality clause, guess what? I highly recommend that you reach out to a small business lawyer to help you figure out, what your next step is going to be, because your business is your dream business that you created. It is your intellectual property. All the innermost workings, the processes, the structures, the operations, all those unique things that make your business, you put that intellectual property into creating it. So you want to make sure that you are protecting it, because that is what you're using to propel yourself on your journey for success. So protect it. Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want somebody coming and taking all of that information about my business and then using it for themselves, right? That person stealing it and using it for themselves. I wouldn't want that. And I don't want that for any of the clients that I work with in a coaching or consulting relationship. I want to make sure your information is protected. So that is included in that agreement that you would review and sign before working with me. So I hope that was also included in your agreement, your contract that you would have reviewed and signed before you started with the coach or the consultant that you are working with. Because again, it is private information. It shouldn't be shared without your permission. Remember what ICF said about confidentiality. And like I mentioned earlier, confidentiality clause should be in your contract or your agreement. I know I've said it repeatedly because it is important for your business. You don't want somebody stealing your information and using it as their own. So coaching and consulting are collaborative relationships, and the coaching process is ongoing. Both a coach and a consultant can help you with identifying the problems you're currently facing in your business. Yes, you might think that you have a specific problem, but when you engage in that coaching and consulting relationship, that individual is going to help you figure out if what you think is the problem is truly the problem, or if there is something else that is at play that is truly the problem. And like I mentioned earlier, I know it can be embarrassing to share about your faults, to share about your failures, and those questions that you even think are stupid questions. But you are being open and honest. And by the way, you spend a lot of money on that coach or on that consultant. So don't you want to be open and honest with them? Don't you want them to actually help you get past that challenge, that obstacle, and move forward? I know I would. So I hope you will as well. So be open and honest. And as part of that openness and that honesty, it means that you are sharing information with that coach that is truly, truly private. And then they're going to help you to really figure out what the problem is with your business. Then they're going to help you with identifying some recommendations to take. When those recommendations are being outlined, here's where the coach differs to the consultant. With the coach is now going to help you with actually refining those goals, identifying some processes that you need to implement, working with you on how you're going to go about making those changes and helping you along the way. The consultant will give you the recommendations and then check back with you in a few weeks or months, whatever it is y'all agreed on. But the coach is going to be there with you throughout the entire process and help you to even track how to structure those steps, those actions that you need to take, how you're going to be monitoring those actions as you're going through the changes, and then when you're going to be making needed changes to get you to the next step, right? So again, this means that you are sharing the true functioning of your business, the true operations, all that behind the scenes information. That's what you're sharing with the business coach or with the consultant. So you hear me talk about all this information that you'll be sharing with the coach or the consultant. So I want to give some examples of what those things are. So it could kind of hit closer to home when I'm talking about that private information. Because I get it. Sometimes what you might think is private might not be what the other person thinks. So I'm going to share some examples with you because these are the things that are tied to the operations of your business, right? And as part of it, these are the things that you're going to be discussing with the coach or the consultant. I'm sharing with you some of them, and here the list is long and it doesn't include everything, but it does include some things just so that you can get an idea of the type of things that you do discuss with a coach or consultant. So feel free to go get a pen and some paper, or open a note-taking app or your phone or on your tablet, however you're listening to this. So are you ready? Here are these things that you're going to be talking about with a coach or consultant that you want to make sure is being kept private. Those are your financial statements, your proposed business idea, your budgets and the projections that you have, the customer identifying information, especially that one, especially relates to, when you're looking at that target audience, that ideal audience, and you're looking at refining your audience, potential or intended customers, employers, your products, your services, your computer programs, specifications, manuals, software, analyses, strategies, business plans, contingency plans, and other confidential information, other things that makes your business the unique business that it is. And you could have been sharing this information orally, in writing, in drawing, by any other form of media. Point is, it's the information about your business that you're sharing with the coach. So basically everything that is your business, that's what you're sharing with the coach, because you reached out to this person because you needed help with solving a problem that you have. And in order for them to help you, you have to be open and honest and share all of this information with them so that they can truly help you with moving forward. So the coach or consultant is going to have that responsibility to keep your business's information private and confidential and not disclose that information to anyone. But there are some limits to the confidentiality, though. There are, and I'm going to share two of these exceptions with you. And those exceptions include: one, if the information is requested legally, such as, through a subpoena or because of some type of civil or criminal investigation about your business. And then the other one I wanted to share with you is that it could be that you made some information public that was once private, but you've now made it public. So if you've shared information about your business that was once private information but is now public, now you see where you do have that exception of confidentiality. So the coach would not be sharing confidential information if you've already done so, right? So those are just two of the exceptions to confidentiality. There are more, but the purpose of this video today was really to talk about making that awareness of the fact that confidentiality and keeping your information private are a part of the coaching or the consulting relationship that you are going to be embarking on should you need those services for helping you solve whatever problem you're currently facing in your business and you're feeling stuck and you need to find some solutions, right? So also, before I go, wanted to share with you that there are some limits to the confidentiality. So I highly recommend that you review that agreement, that coaching agreement, that consulting agreement that you signed or you're currently in the process of reviewing before you start taking those services from that coach or that consultant, to see what the limits are for the confidentiality. Want to make sure that you guys are protected. This is your business. It is your intellectual property that you created, that you designed, that you're now sharing with somebody else. You do not want them to take your information and run with it. You want to make sure that you are protected. And if you have any doubts about the level of the protection, the level of the confidentiality, I really recommend that you reach out to your business lawyer, your small business lawyer, so that that person can give you some guidance and some assistance if you do have questions about confidentiality in your coaching or your consulting relationship. So feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so very much for joining me. Remember, solutions plus actions equals results. I'm Dr. Priscilla Kuser with Priscilla Kuser Consulting Solutions. Bye, y'all.